Right, so this is the Trade Watches R1 that we started the YouTube channel with, building this bike at the start of this year. And unfortunately, she's looking a bit sorry for herself. Hayden, the owner's here. Can you tell us what happened, mate?
Where to start? No, so just come back from Portimao, and I was out on the sighting laps actually. Had the instructor in front of us, and he'd waved us on. We'd done our 2 laps, and we were straight out on the next, first proper lap. And the guy in front of me on an S1000, I just see a big puff of white smoke in front of me, which then I straight away knew what was happening. Pretty much said, "Oh fuck!" in my helmet. See that it dropped oil. He had gone down. I was the next bike, and I'd just gone down behind him, which was at Craig Jones, which is in between 9 and 10. Fast left-hander. I would say it's definitely 110 mile an hour. The bike just washed the front end from underneath me, and thank fuck I was all right. I walked away from it. Very, very lucky, because 5 bikes actually went down behind me, and luckily no one got collected. Everyone was upset. There was one chap actually, he was quite hurt, but seen him since, and he was all good. Just had a bit of a bad hip. It's a shame. As you can probably remember, when Sam built this bike back in early part of the year, it was brand new, 0 miles. And she's definitely looking sorry for herself.
Yeah, looking a bit second-hand, bless her. Obviously, the European tracks have quite nasty gravel, so everything's fairly well gravel rashed. It's done a bit of sliding down the road. The front end's all sort of bent out of shape, which we're hoping. If you look, the yokes are straight there, but the wheel's definitely not straight. Hopefully that's just twisted in the yokes, so we can undo everything there and try and straighten it all back up. This side's not so bad. Obviously it's broken the handlebar there, but it's the gravel rash that always upsets you. With a bike like this that was absolutely immaculate and was Hayden's pride and joy, has now got gravel rash on every last inch of it. I think it's also bent and kinked the link pipe, just bits and pieces everywhere. So we've got a fair bit of work on to make her pretty again, make sure everything's straight. Obviously check that front end out and replace anything that needs replacing. But the big thing to mention here is what actually happened. The failure, if you like, it wasn't a failure on the bike in front of Hayden, was the guy's sump plug actually fell out and deposited a sump's worth of oil all over the track, ready for the following riders. And it was a road bike, wasn't it, Hayden?
Yeah, it was a road bike. So it didn't have track bearings. It wasn't lock wired either.
Yeah, so no proper belly pan that would hold some of the oil. It's just literally sump plug out and straight on the track. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who might ride your sort of road bike on the track, just check your sump plugs before you go. That would probably save people like Hayden having their pride and joy absolutely destroyed, and save people getting hurt as well, I suppose. But anyway, we'll start taking this apart and see what she needs. So Hayden's now left the bike with us. It's down to us to get this thing sorted out. Now, obviously, because the bike is his pride and joy, it's not just some ratty old track bike. He does kind of want it back looking immaculate again. So anything that's marked or scuffed we'll probably end up replacing or refurbishing in some way, shape or form. But the biggest thing we need to sort out first is this front end. Like we said, it's all kind of twisted. It's not just the forks twisted in the yokes. I undone all the sort of pinch bolts and everything to see whether it's square up, and it won't. And if you kind of look at it side on, it'll be hard to see on the camera, but it's pretty much 100% sure that the bottom yoke's bent. That's not really a massive problem. All we've got to do is just strip the forks out and take that yoke out, and we'll send that down to Maidstone Motor Liner. Tommy and the guys down there do a brilliant job of making bent things straight again. Big axle stands out on the crash bobbins either side. GB Racing bobbins work as a brilliant place for putting the big axle stands. So all we really got to do is take the front wheel out, pull the brake calipers off. We'll take the whole brake system off. Obviously that bar's scrapped now anyway. So we'll take the whole brake system off and put that in a box out of the way. Now, things that are worth, it's always worth inspecting stuff properly when you take it apart. You see there's damage to that brake hose there, so we're going to have to replace that brake hose, and that's where the sort of handlebar's been knocked so hard one way that it's actually caught itself on something, probably the fairings. So yeah, let's get this front end out of the bike, get the yoke posted down for Tommy, and then we can try and get it back on the wheels, back on its wheels as soon as possible. So here we go, let's get this front end out. Let's pull the brake calipers off so we can get the front wheel out. I'm going to take the brake assembly off as sort of one. So it's just disconnecting the remote adjuster and then removing the musts from the bars, disconnect the brake hoses, and we can put that all to one side out of the way. Now the front wheel's out, we can start removing some more parts. We've got the top yoke off, then we're going to disconnect any switch gears and get the handlebars off and out of the way. You can see there I used an air blower to help blow the damaged grip off the bar. So that's out. Now we can drop each fork out individually, making sure to slide them out nice and straight, not twisting them so that we don't mark the outers. There we go. Then we just need to get a C-spanner onto the lock nuts on the top of the stem, spin them off, take them out, and we can get checking. There we go, front end out. Now, like I've shown you on previous videos, normally what I do is kind of eyeball things like this, or put them on a surface plate to see whether they're bent. Top yoke has got slight bend in it. I know obviously my worktop here isn't a surface plate, but you get the idea. And the same with the bottom yoke. If we eyeball that, you may or may not be able to see the twist in it, but there's quite a significant twist in that. So they will go off to motor liner as a pair to get tweaked by the guys there. And the sad thing is, I think our forks are going to need some love as well. If you look here, where that's where the bottom yoke holds them, and they've got like an indent where they've sort of been pinched there on both of them actually. So if we look at this one's the same. So I'm expecting the outer tubes to be bent. I'll put them in the vise in a minute and get a dial gauge on them and check them, but we'll have to look into the price of replacement tubes, outer tubes. I'd expect that the inners are probably okay. It is probably just where they've taken the impact when it's gone over in the crash. It's bent the yoke and sort of bent them at the same time. Now it's a big thing to keep in mind, being as the front end is had such a hard whack, is whether the frame's bent or not. Now, to be fair, these R1 frames are pretty strong. I think what we'll do is we'll get the yoke sorted out by Maidstone Motor Liner, we'll get the forks checked and sorted out, get it all refitted, and then I'll put my laser wheel alignment kit on it, and that'll give us an idea if there's anything untowards there. If it looks, if there might be the slightest hint of a question mark over the frame being bent, then we'll get the bike stripped down and prepped for the whole thing to go down to Maidstone Motor Liner and get them to check the frame properly. If it was a ZX10, then I would almost guarantee that the frame would be bent because they have quite a soft frame, but I have seen R1s that have done like 3 seasons of racing, been crashed numerous times, and the frame's still been perfect. So we'll just see. Once we've got the front end built back up and the laser aligner on it, we'll have a better idea. But yeah. Right, let's take this broken inlet duct off, shall we? What do we have here? Lots of Portuguese gravel. Well, I don't think you can really call it gravel. The size of the stuff, it's more like a little rock garden sitting inside Hayden's frame. And this is also one of the reasons why I said to Hayden not to start the bike after the crash happened. It's the size of that stuff and the speed the bike went in. It's possible it could have punched through the air filter, or it's possible that some of it could have gone right up the exhaust, depending if the bike went backwards into the gravel. So it'll be fuel tank off and check the airbox next. Go from there. Luckily, nothing's got past the air filter. We will pull the airbox off completely and actually manually open the throttle bodies and have a look and check down the inlets. And if we pull this out, we can see the other side of Hayden's Portimao rock garden. So we'll get that all cleared out and get the airbox off and check down those inlets and see where else we can find stones. They kind of appear everywhere, but always worth trying to find as many of them as you can and getting them out, just in case something gets jammed somewhere or causes a problem. And that's about it for this week. We have checked the fork outers. They are bent, and obviously they've got that crease damage from the bottom yoke. So Darren at MCT is getting us some new tubes in from Olin's. We'll drop the forks at his. He can strip them out, check there's nothing else bent or damaged in them, and replace those. Obviously the yokes have gone off the Maidstone motor liner. They should be back normally within a few days or so. And in the meantime, we'll crack on with stripping the rest of the bike, cleaning it up, and checking all the other parts. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.